Very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha Television. I am Aishwarya Kapoor and here are this morning's headlines. Newly elected President Ramnath Kovind says his win is a message for honest workers. President Pranab Mukherjee, Prime Minister Modi and Sonia Gandhi congratulate him. Centre says committed to act against those involved in lynching in the name of cow vigilantism. Opposition says government doing nothing concrete. India and China committed to solution to boundary dispute through dialogue, says Centre. Sushma Swaraj informs Parliament. China trying to alter status quo. Nagaland Chief Minister T.R. Zelianga to prove majority in the State Assembly today. Former Chief Minister Lizitsu claims his government's dismissal was illegal. And India cruised into the ICC Women's World Cup final in style. Beat Australia in the semi-final by 36 runs. Vice Captain Harmanpreet Kaur works magic with the bat. Ramnath Kovind will be India's 14th president. Now, Kovind received an overwhelming majority of votes from the MPs and the MLAs. He defeated opposition's Meera Kumar by getting 66.65% of the votes in the Electoral College. Now, Kovind will be the second community member to hold the top constitutional position.
Ramnath Kovind will be the 14th President of India. The NDA-backed candidate won the presidential election, securing over 7 lakh votes. Kovind was in a contest with opposition candidate former Lok Sabha Speaker Meera Kumar. In the final vote count, Kovind secured more than 65.65% of the votes against Meera Kumar's 34.35%. Counting that started at 11 a.m. went through 8 rounds before the final result was declared.
Shri Ramnath Kovind has secured 7,02,044 votes, which is more than this quota. Therefore, in pursuance of the provisions contained in Section 11 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act 1952, read with Rule 35 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Rule 1974, I, Anup Mishra, the Returning Officer for the Presidential Election 2017, hereby declare that Shri Ramnath Kovind, resident of 42 HIG Maharishi Dayanand Vihar, Phase 2, Kalyanpur, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh, has been duly elected to the office of the President of India.
According to reports, several states saw cross-voting during the elections that resulted in Kovind getting over 2/3 votes. 522 MPs voted for Kovind while 225 voted for Meera Kumar.
जिस पद का गौरव डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद जी, डॉक्टर सर्वपल्ली राधाकृष्णन जी, APJ अब्दुल कलाम जी और प्रणब मुखर्जी जी जैसे महान विद्वानों ने बढ़ाया है, उस पद पर मेरा चयन मुझे बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी का एहसास करा रहा है। व्यक्तिगत रूप से मेरे लिए ये बहुत ही भावुक क्षण है।
जिस विचारधारा की लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए मैं इस चुनाव में शामिल हुई थी, वो आज 20 जुलाई 2017 को समाप्त नहीं हुई है। विचारधारा और मूल्यों की ये लड़ाई जारी रहेगी, क्योंकि हमारे देश के बहुत सारे लोग इसमें विश्वास करते हैं और इसमें अपना संबल पाते हैं।
Meanwhile, as flowers and extra security arrived at the former Bihar governor's home in Delhi, sweets were passed around at his hometown in Uttar Pradesh.
सामान्य परिवार में जन्मे गरीब परिवार से निकलकर आने के बाद देश के इतने महामहिम राष्ट्रपति पद पर आज रामनाथ कोविंद जी का जहां पर बैठना ये सामान्य भारतीय व्यक्ति को गौरवान्वित करने वाला है और इस बात की खुशी भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कार्यकर्ता और पूरे देशवासी मना रहे हैं।
In the presidential election 2017 held on July 17th, of the total 4,880 valid voters, 4,109 MLAs and 771 MPs cast their vote. 71-year-old Kovind will be sworn in as the president on July 25th. Bureau report from TV.
And President-elect Ramnath Kovind thanked the nation for his electoral victory, calling it an emotional moment. He said that his foremost duty will be to uphold and protect the Constitution of India.
आज के चुनाव परिणाम के लिए मैं सभी देशवासियों का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। देश के हर क्षेत्र के जनप्रतिनिधियों ने मुझ पर जो विश्वास जताया है उसके लिए मैं उनका आभारी हूं। हम चुनाव में विपक्ष की उम्मीदवार रही श्रीमती मीरा कुमार जी को भी धन्यवाद के साथ ही अपनी शुभकामनाएं भी देता हूं। जिस पद का गौरव डॉक्टर राजेंद्र प्रसाद जी, डॉक्टर सर्वपल्ली राधाकृष्णन जी, एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम जी और प्रणब मुखर्जी जी जैसे महान विद्वानों ने बढ़ाया है, उस पद पर मेरा चयन मुझे बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी का एहसास करा रहा है। व्यक्तिगत रूप से मेरे लिए ये बहुत ही भावुक क्षण है। आज दिल्ली में सुबह से बारिश हो रही है। बारिश का ये मौसम मुझे बचपन के उन दिनों की याद दिलाता है जब मैं अपने पैतृक गांव में रहा करता था। घर कच्चा था, मिट्टी की दीवारें थी। तेज बारिश के समय फूस की बनी छत पानी रोक नहीं पाती थी। हम सब भाई बहन कमरे की दीवार के किनारे खड़े होकर इंतजार करते थे कि बारिश कब समाप्त होगी। आज देश में ऐसे कितने ही रामनाथ कोविंद होंगे जो इस समय बारिश में भीग रहे होंगे, कहीं खेती कर रहे होंगे, कहीं मजदूरी कर रहे होंगे, शाम को भोजन मिल जाए इसके लिए पसीना बहा रहे होंगे। आज मुझे उनसे कहना है कि परौख गांव का रामनाथ कोविंद राष्ट्रपति भवन में उन्हीं का प्रतिनिधि बनकर जा रहा है। मुझे ये जिम्मेदारी दिया जाना देश के ऐसे हर व्यक्ति के लिए एक संदेश भी है जो ईमानदारी और प्रामाणिकता के साथ अपने कर्तव्यों का निर्वहन करता है। इस पद पर चुना जाना न कभी मैंने सोचा था और न कभी मेरा लक्ष्य था, लेकिन अपने समाज के लिए, अपने देश के लिए अथक सेवा भाव आज मुझे यहाँ तक ले आया है। यही सेवा भाव हमारे देश की परंपरा भी है। राष्ट्रपति के पद पर मेरा चयन भारतीय लोकतंत्र की महानता का प्रतीक है। इस पद पर रहते हुए संविधान की रक्षा करना और संविधान की मर्यादा को बनाए रखना मेरा कर्तव्य है। मैं देश के सभी लोगों को नमन करते हुए उन्हें विश्वास दिलाता हूं कि सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः के भाव के साथ राष्ट्र की सेवा में निरंतर लगा रहूंगा। देश के लोगों का, हर राजनीतिक दल का और सभी जनप्रतिनिधियों का एक बार पुनः बहुत बहुत आभार और आप सभी को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
An emotional message there by the President-elect. Meanwhile, Meera Kumar, the opposition candidate who lost the election, also made a statement after the result was announced. She congratulated Ramnath Kovind on his victory and said that it was upon the new president to uphold the constitution in letter and spirit. She also thanked her supporters and said that her battle of ideology would continue as the system and the principle that she is fighting for are the held most sacred by most people in the country.
I want to congratulate Shri Kovind ji on his election as the President of India, our great country. I extend my good wishes to him as it has fallen upon him to uphold the Constitution of India in letter and spirit in these most challenging times. I want to thank all those honorable members of the Collegium who have voted for me. I want to thank Srimati Sonia Gandhi and all the leaders of those opposition political parties who unanimously made me their candidate in this election. I want to thank my countrymen and women who have extended their good wishes to me and have supported me. I want to make it very clear that today, on 20th July 2017, my battle for ideology doesn't end. It will continue, because the ideology, the value system, the principles that I am fighting for are held sacred by most of the people of my country. They find strength in it. These are social justice, inclusiveness, secularism, transparency, freedom of expression, freedom of the press, total destruction of the caste system. I will continue to fight for these values at all the strength at my command. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And President Pranab Mukherjee, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress President Sonia Gandhi led several leaders in congratulating Kovind. Let's listen in to some of the reactions.
मैं श्री रामनाथ कोविंद जी को आज जो ऐतिहासिक जीत हुई है राष्ट्रपति पद के चुनाव में उनकी, उसके लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी की ओर से बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। आज रामनाथ जी ये जब 25 तारीख को राष्ट्रपति बनेंगे, इस देश के करोड़ों गरीब, दबे कुचले गांव में रहते हुए लोगों को अपना प्रतिनिधि सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद पर बैठा हुआ दिखाई पड़ेगा।
बहुत अभिनंदन उनका। बहुत ही विनम्र, संविधान के मर्मज्ञ, भारत की राजनीति को समझने वाले हैं, संसदीय परंपरा को समझने वाले हैं। उनके बनने से बहुत ही खुशी है।
इसमें सबसे बड़ी बात ये रही कि बहुत भारी मात्रा में क्रॉस वोटिंग हुई है और अपोजिशन पार्टीज के जो जनप्रतिनिधि हैं उनको वो भी कई जनता की जो आवाज है उसको सुनकर उन्होंने सही कैंडिडेट को चुना।
राष्ट्रपति पद के चुनाव में श्री रामनाथ कोविंद जी को भारी बहुमत से सफलता प्राप्त होने पर मैं उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार और उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता की ओर से हृदय से बधाई देता हूं। यह उत्तर प्रदेश के लिए और भी गौरव का क्षण है कि पहली बार देश के सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद पर उत्तर प्रदेश का सपूत विराजमान होगा।
अब जब ये परिणाम आ गया है तो जाहिर है कि कोविंद जी हमारे राष्ट्रपति हैं और उनको जो सम्मान मिलना चाहिए वो सम्मान उनको मिलेगा, उसमें कोई कमी नहीं होगी। लड़ाई तब तक थी जब तक के चुनाव था।
And today is the last date for withdrawal of candidature in the upcoming vice presidential election. Now, NDA's nominee Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu and the joint opposition candidate Mr. Gopal Krishna Gandhi filed their nomination papers on Tuesday. The scrutiny was held on Wednesday. The voting will take place on 5th of August and the result will also be declared on the same day. The term of the present incumbent Mohammad Hamid Ansari, who has held the post for 2 consecutive terms, is coming to an end on 10th of August. On to some other news. The notification for the biennial polls to 9 Rajya Sabha seats and the by-poll to 1 seat in 3 states will be issued today. The elections will be held on 8th of August. Now, the terms of several prominent faces in the upper house, including Union Minister Smriti Irani, CPM General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri and Trinamool Congress leader Derek O'Brien are ending on 18th of August. Now, while the terms of 9 Rajya Sabha members from Gujarat and West Bengal are ending on 18th of August, by-poll to the upper house seat from Madhya Pradesh will also be held following the demise of Union Environment Minister Mr. Anil Dave on 18th of May. Now, Dave's Rajya Sabha term was to end on 29th of June 2022. Now, out of the 9 retiring members, 4 are from Trinamool Congress, 2 are from the Congress, 2 are from the BJP and 1 from the CPIM. In Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
मेरी कोशिश ये थी कि एक ऐसा एक्सेंट लेकर आऊं जो एक ट्रेडिशनल पंजाबी उर्दू का मिक्स हो।
अंग्रेजों का नमक खाया हमने, उसे खारिज कर दूं मैं। लेकिन जब नजर साफ हुई तो मेरी समझ में आ गया, आजादी के लिए लड़ने वाली अगर कोई फौज है तो उसका नाम है आजाद हिंद फौज।
मेरा था कि ये तीनों चेहरे बहुत गुड लुकिंग होने चाहिए, बिकॉज इवेंचुअली जब वो लड़ेंगे और उनके ऊपर अपना ब्लेम आएगा कि ये वेदर दे आर पेट्रियट्स और ट्रेटर्स, ये तीनों बड़े हसीन लगने चाहिए कि ये मरने के लिए पैदा है।
सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
Thanks for staying with us. News from Upper House. And Leader of the House, Arun Jaitley, replied to the debate on lynching in the Upper House on Thursday, saying that violence cannot be a partisan issue. Now, he urged all the parties to speak in one voice against the incidents of lynching and also refrain from giving political color to such incidents. Jaitley reaffirmed that wherever acts of violence and lynching have been reported, legal proceedings and charge sheets have been prepared in a systematic way.
और इसलिए हिंसा पार्टीशन इशू नहीं हो सकता, पार्टीशन दृष्टि से या विचार की दृष्टि से, भावना की दृष्टि से उसका जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं हो सकता। और इसलिए मैंने स्वयं, मेरे पास पूरा चार्ट है, जितनी घटनाएं हुई हैं, केवल निंदा कर देना, बयान देकर इतना नहीं है। और यह कहना कि भाई आपके पास कोई विकल्प नहीं था इसलिए आपने निंदा की, और किसी ने ये कहा कि भाई निंदा कर दी और लोगों को कहा हिंसा करते रहो। और जितनी घटनाएं अभी तक हुई हैं उसमें हर एक में कानूनी कार्रवाई एक व्यवस्थित सिस्टमैटिक तरीके से हुई और हर एक में लोग गिरफ्तार हुए और वो सारे गिरफ्तार लोग, अरेस्टेड लोग आज भी जेल में हैं।
And a short duration discussion on the reported increase in the incidents of lynching and atrocities against minorities and Dalits concluded in the Rajya Sabha on Thursday. The opposition alleged that the unofficial army of hooligans will disturb the peace and tranquility of the country in the name of cow protection. The government, however, condemning mob lynching, said it accused the opposition of falling prey to selective amnesia.
The opposition sought to corner the government on the issues of lynching and atrocities against minorities and Dalits. Congress's Kapil Sibal challenged the cow vigilantes to guard Indian borders instead of killing innocent people in the name of cow protection. Sharad Yadav of the JDU accused the government of harming the rural economy with its cattle regulation.
कि किसी को बांध के उसको मारो और फिर कहते हैं कि हम भारत माता की रक्षा कर रहे हैं, फिर कहते हैं कि हम भारत माता की रक्षा कर रहे हैं। मैं चुनौती देता हूं, अगर भारत माता इतनी ही प्यारी है तो जाओ ना सरहद पे लड़ो।
हालात इतने खराब हैं कि धर्म के नाम पर कुछ लोग बस में चढ़ने से बस में चढ़ने से डर रहे हैं, ट्रेन में चढ़ने से डर रहे हैं।
D. Raja of the CPI claimed fascism was on the rise in the country, while TKS Ellen Govan of the DMK criticized the government over the violence in the name of cow protection.
This is what I am saying. It is part of a project insurrection. It is part of an ideology. It is part of a political theory. I call it Manuvadi fascism.
Mob lynching is attacking a single person by a group of people with an intention to promote a religious cause.
Nominated member KTS Tulsi alleged that mob lynchings were a communal crime, while nominated member Rajiv Chandrasekhar contended that religious beliefs of all the communities should be respected.
It is important that he bans these organizations who are openly indulging in this kind of mob rule and mob violence.
Use of violence to settle any dispute is wrong. The right to movement, liberty and life are fundamental and guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution. Using violence to take lives is wrong, even when it is about sensitive issues like protecting cows.
HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar condemned mob lynching and rubbished the opposition's claims. He also drew parallels between mob lynchings and 1984 anti-Sikh riots.
This is the worst crime against humanity. और इसलिए हर कहीं भी जहां भी कोई लिंचिंग जैसी घटना होती है, किसी हर एक की बहुत कड़ी शब्दों में केवल निंदा ही नहीं करनी चाहिए, ये हमारे देश में नहीं होना चाहिए। यही प्रेरणा हर ऐसे घृणित इंसिडेंट से हमें लेकर काम करना आगे चाहिए।
The entire opposition then staged a walkout in protest against Javadekkar's comments.
इतनी तकलीफ नहीं होती इस देश का शिक्षा मंत्री अगर उनकी ऐसी सोच है, इनकी अगर ऐसी सोच है, तो हम अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि इस देश में कैसी शिक्षा दी जाएगी और दी जा रही है।
With inputs from Vishal Daiya and Panchanan Mishra, Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj apprised the upper house on Thursday that all the countries are with India on the issue of a Dokla standoff with China. Sushma Swaraj also assured the country that India was well equipped to defend itself. Here are the details.
External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj told the upper house that India is vigilant of its security interests. Making a statement during question hour, Swaraj said that it was China and not India which had altered the status quo of the Sikkim border. She said both Bhutan and India are sovereign nations and are working to resolve border disputes with China.
हम ये चाहते हैं कि अगर संवाद चल रहा है कि भी अगर कोई बातचीत बैठकर करनी है तो दोनों अपनी अपनी सेनाएं हटाएं। तो इसीलिए सारे के सारे देश ये समझ रहे हैं कि भारत ने जो अपना मत रखा है और जो पक्ष रखा है वो गलत नहीं है। न्याय हमारे पक्ष के साथ है, इसको सारे देश मान रहे हैं।
Swaraj added that India's stand on South China is very clear. India maintains that free and uninterrupted passage for commercial vessels should be maintained in the region, and any disputes should be resolved with mutual cooperation.
भारत की स्थिति दक्षिण चीन सागर के बारे में बहुत ही स्पष्ट है कि फ्रीडम ऑफ नेविगेशन होना चाहिए, कॉमर्स अनइम्पीडेड यानी किसी तरह से वहाँ के व्यापार को बाधक नहीं बनाना चाहिए, और अगर आपसी मतभेद और विवाद पैदा होते हैं तो अनक्रॉस के नीचे जाना चाहिए। ये हमारी बहुत ही स्पष्ट नीति है।
China and India are engaged in a month-long standoff over Doklam Plateau in the Sikkim sector after Indian troops stopped Chinese army from building a road in the area. China claimed it is constructing the road within its territory and has been demanding immediate pullout of the Indian troops. New Delhi has conveyed to the Chinese government that road construction will represent a significant change of status quo. It is expected to give Beijing easy access to Chicken's Neck, a narrow land linking India to the 8 northeastern states, and could impose serious security threats. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And on to political situation in Nagaland, and the newly elected Chief Minister of Nagaland, T.R. Zeliang, has been tasked with proving his majority on the floor of the House today. Now, Nagaland Governor P.B. Acharya has summoned a special session of the State Legislative Assembly today. The Governor had sworn in Zeliang as the new Chief Minister with the condition to prove his majority on or before Saturday. Zeliang will move the vote of confidence in the Assembly as an MLA of the Naga People's Front, though he has been expelled from the party for 6 years. He also expressed confidence that with the support of 36 NPF MLAs, 7 independents and 4 BJP MLAs takes the number to 47 in the House of 60. He is sure of commanding a majority in the House. Now, Zeliang took over the mantle after incumbent Chief Minister Shurozeli Lizutsu was dismissed by Governor P.B. Acharya. Lizitsu and his supporters failed to turn up for a trust vote on Wednesday. The trust vote was necessitated after TR Zeliang staked a claim to form the government. And more trouble for embattled Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif in the Panama Papers leak case. Now, Pakistan Supreme Court has warned that Sharif's children could face up to 7 years in jail if it was proved that they had submitted fake documents to the probe panel. The warning came as the court headed the Panama Gate scandal case for the 4th consecutive day on Thursday. The judges also again asked the Sharif family to prove the money trail of its various businesses abroad, including in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and the UK. The hearing in the case began on Monday after the submission of a report by the Joint Investigation Team, which was tasked by the court to probe the allegation of corruption against Sharif and his family. Now, the JIT, among other things, has also observed that some of the documents submitted by the children of Sharif were tampered with. The scandal surfaced when the Panama Papers leaks last year revealed that Sharif's children owned offshore companies which managed their properties. Let's get you some more news from across the world in World Wrap. The European Union and Britain offered a few compromises at their first full round of Brexit talks, which ended on Thursday. Despite finding some common ground, big differences remain over citizens' rights and uncertainty persists over the financial settlement and the Irish border. The pound fell on worries that British ministers were prepared to walk away without a divorce deal. The United Nations Security Council voted unanimously to impose sanctions against 8 individuals and businesses linked to the Islamic State extremist group and Al-Qaeda. The 8 additions to the UN sanctions blacklist include IS leaders in Southeast Asia and groups in Syria. The US drafted resolution also urged greater international cooperation to cut off funding to the extremist groups. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump also said that the Islamic State group was failing fast, asserting that the US-led international coalition was doing very well against the terrorist outfit. Trump made the statement as he arrived at the Pentagon for a military strategy meeting with his commanders. The Trump administration is doing a comprehensive review of its Afghan policy. Russia has said that the new US sanctions against Iran over its ballistic missile program were unfounded. Washington slapped new economic sanctions against Iran on Tuesday, saying that Tehran's malign activities in the Middle East had undercut any positive contributions coming from the Iran nuclear core. Russia, however, said that rather Washington was fulfilling its own part of the Iran nuclear deal very badly. A strong earthquake in the Aegean Sea has killed at least 2 people on the Greek island of Kos. The 6.7 magnitude earthquake hit 12 kilometers northeast of Kos near the Turkish coast with a depth of 10 kilometers. Several others were injured. A small tsunami was also reported on the Turkish coast. And on to some sports news. India beat Australia by 36 runs to reach the final for the second time in the ongoing ICC Women's World Cup. The Indian vice-captain Harmanpreet Kaur hit 171 runs off 115 balls to ensure India put up an imposing 281 runs for 4 after rain reduced the match to 42 overs a side. Her performance also getting her the Player of the Match award. Now, electing to bat after winning the toss, India set a target of 282 for Australia. In reply, the Australian women's team could only muster 245 runs. Now, this will be India's second World Cup final, having reached the summit clash in 2005 as well, where they had lost to Australia. Now, India will face host England in the summit clash on 23rd of July. That's all in this edition of news. Thanks for watching.